you're listening to this program on KBIA, spoiler alert, it's not live. We record it earlier in the day. Today, we're recording just before lunchtime, and you may be watching live on either Facebook or YouTube while we record. Our show is what we in the business call live to tape. We produce it as the full half hour as it is, and once we start, we don't stop, no matter what happens. We're live, but we're not. So now that I've made that clear as mud, I want to talk about what happened Friday on The View, which is live. And I mean live, like for real live. And if you were watching, you saw this right before they were supposed to introduce a highly promoted interview with Vice President Kamala Harris.
Need the two of you to step off for a second.
Okay.
Anna and
we're going to bring
Sunny
you back later.
have to leave.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we'll tell you why.
More information later. It's a tease.
We'll tell you why in a couple of minutes. So shall I introduce the Vice President?
Yes.
Okay. So, Vice President... No.
Nope.
Okay. Shall we dance? Let's do a tap dance. Since this is going to be a major news story any minute now.
Yeah.
What happened is that Sunny and Anna both apparently tested positive for COVID. No matter how hard we try, these things happen. They probably have a breakthrough case, and they'll be okay, I'm sure, because they're both vaccinated up the wazoo.
When I got home, I watched the full hour, and in so many ways, my heart broke. It broke for Sunny and for Anna. It broke for Joy Behar and Sarah Haynes, for the producer. Ernest, we've been doing this show long enough that we have a sense of how to roll with things, right? Like, here's a little secret we weren't telling anyone yet. I didn't have a teleprompter for this show until 4 minutes ago. So we were dealing with our own technical issues and trying to make this all work on the fly. It's really hard in some cases where you can't stop and you can't start over. To keep going.
To keep going.
Exactly.
You know, you're figuring it out in real time. You know, it's like, let's go with it until we can get back into the groove.
Yeah. So I will tell you, and Ron, we're going to talk a minute about what your experiences have been on the air. I'm going to tell you what one of mine was as a producer. We had a complete meltdown live on the air. We had a technical meltdown. And at the time, Ben Bradley, who is a grad of our program, now works for WGN-TV, he was anchoring. And he was really complaining before the show that we were having a guest on and he wasn't happy with what they were talking about and the guest wasn't happy with him. It was this terrible situation. And I'm like, just get through the segment, it's fine. It was about exercise. And this was when like those exercise bands were really popular. Well, we had a technical meltdown and our master control couldn't go to a commercial break at the end of the segment. And I just kept getting into Ben's earpiece, like the one that I wear, and saying, keep going. And he went, huh? And kind of looked in the camera. I'm like, get on the floor and start doing sit-ups. And you start doing calisthenics. I'm like, for 4 or 5 minutes, he was exercising. Ron, you had talked, too, about how you run into some situations on the air, too, where like that live TV thing just came to eat you right up.
Exactly. I think I can remember one time being on a live shot, doing a live report for one of the newscasts when I was a reporter. And I think I was talking about a story, and I got confused about some of the facts or some of the things I was talking about. And then I just kind of lost my place, and I think I just started babbling, and I think they just had to cut me off because it's like, I'm not sure what I was even talking about, you know? So you have those situations where it's like, you feel like you have to say something to keep going, but you're not sure what you're saying. And so they're just like, I think he doesn't know what he's talking about. Let's just cut him off. It's like,
Yeah, I mean, you know, the thing about, and we see it every day in this market because our students are learning how to do live shots. And there isn't a week or a weekend where, you know, you don't have a student who just loses their place or the information doesn't come across the way they thought it would when they were practicing it, and they just stop. You know, and that's one of the drawbacks of going live. But if you don't go live,
you're never going to get good at going live.
You're never going to get good at going live, and that's what the public expects you to be live and at the scene, because that's what we've given them over the course of, ever since live television came into being, they expect you to go live. And if you're not and somebody else is, they're the ones who are going to get the audience.